not going to be happening here. As the victor going to be taken away first here by UCal. An odd one, because he's been really good on the champion himself. They don't want to see it.
Yeah, because you have to first pick it, otherwise Chovy plays it, but if you first pick it, Chovy plays a Kali. And you will notice, if you watch enough LCK, that this reasoning, when it comes to Chovy, applies a lot. Where you go in circles, where it's like, oh, you can't.
I don't know whether that actually gets them out of the troublesome spot, though.
That's the neat thing. Nothing does, because you're still playing against GENG in the LCK.
Doesn't sound very neat.
No, it doesn't. Really, the only team that can deal with GENG, as we have highlighted, is maybe a Humble Life. A DK will get nauseatingly close and then fail. Or KT, when no one sees it coming.
Yep. That's going to be next week, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. First half of the week.
It won't be this one. Because now it's too obvious.
Right.
So it'll be when GENG has like a 16-game winning streak and they're like undefeated season.
The thing is, like, if everyone predicts GENG for that series, which it's almost guaranteed
it doesn't matter,
because
we still kind of think that they might.
Yeah, the feeling. It's crept into the waters. That's a good point. That is a good point. Okay, Nocturne going to be the final ban here.
Nocturne. An interesting one. Huh.
Does mean that Talia,
that comment.
Talia that we were talking about, is likely to be snapped up first. So the Callista going to be the ban away, and that was a smirk.
I don't think you can blind Talia.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
I just don't think you can do it against Chovy. So the Varus comes through. Varus against maybe Ashe for Ruler. MF. Ruler has been fine on MF. Not aiming level, but he's been acceptable as...
Ooh, Renekton Italy!
My God.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, hear me out.
Ready to hear you out.
This is not actually the setup. It's Chovy on Renekton. It's Nidalee top.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
It's not. It's just this. It's just this.
I remember a game where Canyon played Nidalee
with Renekton mid.
With Renekton mid. That went really well.
Until it did. As why do we keep playing Rise Lily? I just don't like it.
It won.
Chovy slammed that Anivia.
Oh,
get out
God.
Get out of here with your...
It's Misfortune.
Okay, that's fine. Misfortune makes sense. We're not the biggest fans.
But now they're going to ban Anivia.
Well, they should. I feel like we haven't really been clued in yet to the fact that that's unplayable for Rise. I feel like you can't blind Rise. It's just a couple of matchups like that where he just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it shouldn't be allowed.
Chovy might play Sion mid or something at this point just to set up Canyon. Like, I can feel it. He's going to pick something silly. And then he just picks like Orianna or something. It's just all of us going, ugh.
Yeah. Could be the case. I don't know whether, like, I hate everything about Orianna and Italy. That sounds absolutely disgusting.
You know what it might be out of nowhere?
What?
Smolder with the steel chair.
Oh, no.
Cross Smolder into Rise. Can you imagine how quickly he would get his stackies?
Oh, there's no way that's going to be picked. Okay. All right, one more ban. See whether it's going to be something. It's not going to be a Leona. I was actually thinking about that, but that's not going to happen. Rel will sort of eliminate the highest rung of the engaged supports outside of Rakan, which that Duro will be very happy to pick up. Instead, it will be the Jax taken away from Rich.
Normally you could go back to Gragas, but Gragas,
he's going to play
Rise,
Aatrox.
He's going to play Sion.
Sion, you think? I think it's Aatrox.
I think it should be Aatrox. I think it might be Sion. I hope not. As Zarel, unsurprisingly, gets taken away, so...
Oh, Alistair's still up.
Yeah, you'll Ali or Rakan. Those are your two choices. I kind of was expecting Rakan, because
me too.
Ando comfort pick and Poppy's gone, and they're not picking Talia. Unless the Rise gets flexed, which we don't know yet.
That could theoretically happen.
That is Braum.
Oh, the Yorick! Was nerfed in the jungle again, I'm pretty sure. But not as much towards the top side.
Yeah.
But we saw it didn't really need to be nerfed because it wasn't very good here in the LCK. But the Ghoulie wall, definitely a whole lot of fun. Braum, going to be locked in. Show us your Braum, Ando. He's going to bring that one out. Now the last pick.
I don't love the DRX draft. I'm not really sure what we ended up with here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Chovy, pick something boring to really make us all
On
bad.
mid. Oh, Galio is definitely boring.
Well, it's Chovy Galio. I'll take that. Yeah, I think that's he's had one of the
It sets up for bullet times pretty well.
he's had one of the coolest plays. You know, like a Chovy
True.
4-man flash taunt. That was cool. That happened.
It's really interesting because my brain kind of computes that as Chovy making that.
That is exactly what it says on the tin.
I mean, I guess I could take your word for it, or I could also just say it's probably going to look like a tiger. As you better bring up that photo right now as we make our way towards Summoner's Rift for Game 2.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. GENG back on the red side once again. As DRX, different draft, a little bit more of an opportunity. As that looks like a tiger. I don't know what you're talking. I mean, there is a bit of a
Look at the
ruler
eyes.
vibe. A little bit of
You
a
can
ruler
see
vibe.
it.
Yeah.
As
little
far
bit,
as a
but-
tiger can look like ruler.
Yeah,
Minion
I think that's, you need to
yes.
definitely add that caveat.
But
Yeah, no, there's definitely, there's like a thing going on there.
well, it's still an animal.
Yeah,
Like
just
it's not.
just post it on Twitter so that everyone else can have a look and they can be the judges.
They
for
can
themselves.
judge me.
Yeah, set it as like a poll and say, does this look a bit like Ruler? And then tag Ruler in it, and we'll see whether Ruler thinks it looks like Ruler.
Okay, I'll give it.
He
a
might
go.
be on Twitter. I don't know. You could tag Arnold and then Arnold forward it. It's all right. GENG going to be getting a bit of a leash for Canyon here so that he can book it through the jungle as fast as possible. Canyon, the best thing about Canyon when he plays Nidalee is the fact that he actually uses his Nidalee skin. Kind of like everyone else who plays Nidalee, but it is just good to see. There's a few like Zeka also uses his Akali skin, but Beryl will never use his Leona skin ever, and that's super annoying. As, yep, 81.1% win rate on his Nidalee in the LCK of all time, 30-7. One of those 7 losses lost me my hair as well. So the early game definitely put that down as a W. As DRX, speaking of W's, actually winning out in this early game on the bottom side of the map quite nicely.
Well, I did it. I put it out. There's
There
a
we go.
poll. The people can now judge for themselves.
Love that. Absolutely fantastic. Keeping him honest. I do kind of see it, but it's a bit weird.
Listen, I'm going to be very honest.
Uh-huh.
I feel like you might not want to because you just want to be like, no, Chronicle, you're silly. It might be a little bit of that.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of that. But that, look, the people will tell.
We will
As,
we'll
oh,
find out.
wait. Kane able to actually slice through the ghoulies, which does make things a little difficult for Rich in the matchup, I
It
guess.
makes him sound like a cereal brand.
Ghoulies?
Yeah, the ghoulies.
Or
You know, you wake up and you have your bowl of ghoulies with milk.
yeah, or it's like a sitcom back in the days. Okay, there's a nice double pole there from Duro. Not too much going to come of it.
What flavor would actually? There's no good answer.
No.
Let's drop the bowl of cereal.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. All right, we are Flash Justice punching for a max range taunt. Yukal is dead for first blood, and I personally think he had no right to land any of that. Flash forward Justice punch into max range taunt is not okay setup for a spear.
There's someone that needs to apologize for saying that Galio was boring, and it's both of us. We are sorry, Chovy. We are very familiar with your game.
Oh, that was so rude.
That was very mean.
All right, well, at least he had to use his flash. Wow, that was still so...
Mean. Still not good. Still not worth.
Wow. All right, yep, well... As it turns out, Galio, phenomenal setup for a Nidalee. That's why they picked it. Targeted CC. That's all right, there's another 2-man pole. Let's see whether the double up's going to work out. Show him the door. And Duro gonna have to run his way out of there. Lilia was in position for a bit of a follow-up as Canyon a little further away. That's all right, let's have a look at this one more time from Trovy's
풀2를
perspective.
박아볼까 아니면?
Should I just flash E? And as it turns out, yes.
The timing as well, because the minions could have actually messed that up, right? If it just a second later,
I mean,
the minions Konga in front of this, because he didn't have that
Canyon
much.
did actually have to weave the spear as well.
Oh. Yeah.
If I'm Yukal, I'm not too upset about that. That's one of those things where it's like, well, I guess that happened. It had a lot of opportunities to go wrong. As Morning missed for a bit of good old poke damage.
Just change the inflection a little bit. You can do like the classic cringe content. I guess that happened, you know, and then they look into the camera.
I did cringe a little.
Yeah. Well, that's the point.
I understand why it's called that.
Yeah, that's the point of the content. Sponge is on a ward.
He is. He knows he's on a ward as well.
There's a reinforcement.
Spinning around.
Ondo was there.
All right.
I'm just gonna help Yukal shove out this wave so I can go back and not be at risk of getting murderized again by Chovy and Canyon.
Oh, Teddy gets a control ward down as Duro did not need to sweep that one because he could see it, but he's gonna sweep anyway, just in case.
Oh, that was a fun little mind game.
Yeah, that was a cute one.
Duro did have help. He also went phase rush, by the way. I haven't discussed this yet. Kind of makes sense if you look at how he played out a lot of the early trades. Should have noticed earlier, honestly. Like very go in, proc combo, and run out again.
Yep. It actually gives you an exit strategy.
Good tech.
Canyon has not missed a spear, and there's another flash pulverize here from Duro, much like last week, looking real good on the cow. The kitty cat gets yet another kill. There are a lot. It's like a menagerie on the Rift right now as the deer gets taken down by a cat and a cow. All right, that's a lot of people that agree with you. That's 112 so far on the poll. Get on Twitter if you don't believe Ruler looks like a tiger.
92.
But right now, 92%.
I should credit this was not my original. I just saw someone tweet this. I'm like, you are right.
Yeah, we should actually.
Yeah, I will.
I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, Make It Rain is pretty good setup as it turns out. As my God, Teddy taking a lot of damage there as the bullet time through the door is going to be the opportunity here. Is Chovy getting close in? Oh, is this his first death? His first death in 6 games. Never mind. He's just going to ult to the bottom lane. Ghoulie wall. And oh, look at the mechanical maiden. It's kind of cool. Little steampunk maiden over there. As Chovy going to have his back interrupted. And is going to go back home.
Do it. Dive, dive.
Oh, the bowling ball. Can it eat through the shield? Oh, it does in time, just barely. Oh man, that was almost Chovy being home before he had to worry about it. You can see not too concerned about too much of anything at all, as Ruler is tidying up this minion wave towards the top lane. We're gonna have a look at this fight one more time.
Oh, Sponge unfortunately gets tagged by the spear, and then the flash elongation knockout there from Duro, followed immediately by Chovy.
Gorgeously played.
Yeah, that was in a... Normally, if a Galio like ults in, I think you feel less bad about that, but he's just there.
Yeah.
Like he was just...
Because then he ulted
right place,
out
right time.
of the last thing.
Not even close.
Yeah, apparently.
Rich has a lead.
Yeah, there we go, 10. Oh,
well, once he catches his wave, he will have a lead.
Well, to be honest, everyone has a lead. They just all have a negative gold lead.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
They all have a lead. It's just a negative lead.
That would be called a deficit.
Right, but it could also be called a negative lead.
No, because lead implies you are ahead of something.
No, it's just leading backwards. Okay, Justice Punch here on Yukal. This time there is no Nidalee in the area.
You can't...
I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, I don't want you to leave it at that, because that's not...
All right, I got another question for you then. How about this? So, do you think the world would be a better place if YouTube monetization was based on what a collective of very smart people think about your content and not about just what people want to see?
There's a lot of layers to that question. We gotta give it a second before we dive into that.
Well, let's have a look at this little 2v1 towards the bottom side as Rich is putting down the Ghoulie wall to try and stop Canyon from coming on over here. He is distracted by the Maiden as, my God, if that spear was thrown a little bit more aggressively, it could have been a dead Yorick because he already has a Liandry's Torment complete.
So back to your question.
Yeah, I just saw someone's opinion on the internet, right? Which is a dangerous thing to look at.
I would, yeah.
One of the problems of our time is that YouTube monetization is based on what people want to see, not what they should be watching.
I would argue that this is a this is a really big issue nowadays.
Yeah.
Not just related to YouTube, but just in general. I would say it depends on the type of content. I think when it comes to art, when it comes to pure entertainment, I don't think there's merit to that. I think that whatever is popular is fine, is good.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
like educational stuff.
When it comes to educational stuff, yeah, I would say so.
And I guess it's interesting because a lot of it, like educational stuff that's on YouTube and things like that, is often recommended by people that are, you know, in that sort of space as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just an interesting thought.
I'm
I don't think I phrased it all that well because it was just sort of like a...
Well, it's you know, you can talk about this for hours.
Thought.
It's better than what we usually talk about, which is what we would do if dinosaurs were real. So, you know, we gotta... Sometimes we just gotta elevate it a bit.
True.
Anyway, so dinosaurs are real.
Dinosaurs are real.
They are real, but not currently.
Well, just not all of them. As okay.
Also that.
Sure. Does finally go in. The door is now down as there is the heroic entrance, but it only gets a knock up onto the Braum. Yukal's teleported in as well as another taunt. The bullet time layered on top as Teddy nowhere to go. No chance to get out, and a gorgeous headbutt back onto Yukal as well. He's going to get decimated. Another kill goes over to Ruler, and Canyon is flashing forward to try and take down Sponge. The spear is going to land because of course it is. And GENG, this is looking on perfect game pace, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even think they have lost a plate.
Oh, yeah, I was putting my vote. No one will beat DRX 19 times in a row.
Unless they lose again to GENG in round 2.
Yeah, that's...
which is right now looking relatively probable.
So DRX was aware that it was going to happen, right? Like, they actually knew because they had Yukal to come in. And then they just get caught off guard by the re-engage from Chovy, who completely cooks them. The bouncy hours of Alistair and Galio ends up being a big detriment, and then Canyon...
Oh, is this another replay? No, this is just Yukal dying.
Yep. So back to dinosaurs. Atlas, have you seen Land Before Time, the original?
Oh, of course I have. Littlefoot was like my favorite character in anything ever for so long. All right, Keen gonna be flashing away here. Remember, he has to save the perfect game.
He's a dinosaur, he's okay.
They did lose some plates, so we're gonna have that plate argument again.
We will not have the plate argument. Plates don't count.
Yeah, they're not real. Neither are grubs.
Well, I think grubs don't, but fortunately for us, in this game...
They didn't take any.
Didn't take any. So, I just, because I saw Littlefoot when I was a kid, right? It was called differently, obviously, in Dutch.
Yep.
He's called Flatfoot.
Is he?
In Dutch, yeah. Not a Littlefoot.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's nice. It's still a cute name, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched it back as an adult, and that movie is so heart-wrenching. It's not even okay.
I've watched it at like a lot of different points in my life.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, cool dinosaurs. And then I was incredibly depressed. As Duro is just moving forward, does manage to interrupt the CC, but does get Chains of Corruption. Andel is likely to be dead, but can they get more is the question here as Chovy moves on to a killing spree.
포탑 방패가 곧 소멸됩니다.
This is reminding me a little bit of that storyline.
As in how like painful it is, or
it does. It just feels like an impossible task. You know, you're trying to work out whether that place is even real. It's interesting because that story has been sort of retold many, many times. I don't even think Land Before Time was sort of the first time that's happened. It's a metaphor for a lot of different things. It's very, very interesting. It's reused once again in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, actually.
Yeah, it does. Which I love both those things. Maybe that's an ongoing something I should look into.
It's because humans just generally love hope.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also, you know, I feel like with Xenoblade there was more about everything else in that game. That game is...
It's just acceptable.
It's like a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Well, we have time.
We do. We got plenty of time. DRX, we got time until DRX go for the comeback.
And then... And then?
Yeah, and then we'll have time after that.
Oh, they go for the comeback, and then we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Is it right now?
Andal is waiting. Okay.
Engage Braum.
Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie wall, Ghoulie wall.
He's Renekton though, so.
Okay. Trovi just going to taunt up Yukal here, Winds of War. And he doesn't have any damage items yet. Just got that Unending Despair, which is just so nice into the Rise matchup. Ruler just over here taking down an outer turret in the mid lane. It feels like there are twice as many GENG members on the map than there are DRX members, and I think that's because they have twice as much money as them. Or at least that's what it feels like. 2,000 gold lead for a Galio into Rise in the mid lane at 15 minutes. Not something that I've seen all that much of. That's all right. It's a Hextech soul as well.
I did a little checkup. We're at 275 now. 93% of votes say.
Oh, wow. It's gone up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Percentage-wise. I think we have our...
Looks like it's confirmed.
We have our confirmation.
Yep. The eyes definitely are a bit rulery.
Yeah, the rest of the people calling me out for not tagging Ruler, so that's valid.
Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. I knew that they'd be able to get it
We
done.
can trust our audience. They are.
I want
very
Arnold to
kind.
comment saying, "I agree, but you should have tagged Ruler," and then he tags Ruler in it. He would.
He would.
As he's also a busy man, so he may not necessarily be watching our broadcast of his team's game.
I think
As Andal's
generally
gonna
he
face
does. I don't know for this one.
Yeah.
On paper, this wasn't the most exciting matchup. Everyone that's here knows that that's not actually true.
All right, Rift
Take
Herald.
the narrative.
Things started up.
No one sees it coming. They're 6K called down.
Oh man, is this how we get to the 6-game day? Oh my god. Well, teleport in from Kane as GENG. I don't know whether DRX really have too much of a right to contest this, but they're going to go for it. Chovy looks for Yukal on a flank angle, gets his flash out. There's now Duro on the flank, but they need to wait for him as GENG somewhat split at this point in time. Ghoulie Wall not going to lock down Chovy as Duro. The triple knock up into the bullet time! And there is the heroic entrance as well. They're only just able to take down Andal in the end, but they also get themselves the Rift Herald, and Rich is taking so much damage. In goes Duro once again! And now Canyon is just murdering them in melee range as this kitty cat, the taunt lands on everyone, and GENG mop the floor with DRX. I would say that it was a good effort, but unfortunately they didn't much have an opportunity to even have an effort in that one.
We are actually on track. Like we.
Yeah, this is a perfect game.
We are actually on track for the perfect game.
And Duro, like that flank pulverized angle was just gorgeous.
GENG just plays these team fights so well, and it's a back and forth. I also think that composition at this point in the game is nigh unbeatable, because DRX just don't have the raw stats on Rise yet, or on Lilia. This is a very short fight as well. I think Lilia really prefers it if you have a bit more of the messy back and forth.
It's like, I'm going for Lilia.
Oh my god, Freeman gets 2 flashes immediately.
And that's not like a muscle memory headbutt pulve as well. That's a headbutt, put him in position, move, get the perfect pulve. He called everything there, calling out some flashes here, and then just letting everyone know, nice work.
This ebb and flow with the double phase rush is just so beautiful to watch. Again, there's a huge gap between these two teams. We don't really get to talk about anything else, right? Than GENG just being so good. Yeah. But they just are.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you say?
Well, sometimes you've just got to watch as GENG obliterate their opposition. And honestly, the fact that the perfect game is still alive makes it very interesting. That's what we need to keep track of and keep up to. There's that. There's also the fact that Chovy hasn't died in 6 games in a row, as that is a lot of Voidlings, Void Mites. As Canyon gonna go for another one. The smite comes down to interrupt him, as he's not gonna get sleepy, not gonna go for a one-man sleep. Here's Sponge. Still, Canyon takes half of his health bar, likely to be able to primally surge himself back up to a decent health rating. Does manage to do that, as Chovy getting towards the top lane will be able to take down
Very
Wave.
important. Can't let him have a turret.
Exactly. As the mid lane outer turret is extraordinarily healthy. There is a little bit taken of the bottom wave.
They're playing against Yorick and they haven't lost a turret.
Yeah. That doesn't bode well for the Yorick team. This happy Poro there from Ruler. He would like to go and have dinner, I think.
Was that the JDG? I think that was a JDG logo. I don't know, because I don't know the emotes from the LPLs who also do the LCK ones. You know, like the...
Yeah, no, I don't know the LPL ones at all, actually.
But I think I saw. That's so cute.
It would make sense that he would have those.
Yeah. Remember that? When they lost one best of 5 in a year?
Yeah, I remember that best of 5. I remember feeling pretty good after that best of 5.
It was a good best of 5.
Yeah.
Pretty memorable.
All right. So, perfect game still on the cards. Dragon has spawned. Maybe that's where we'll get some sort of fight. As you can see, Chovy backing all the way off here. As they might set up for Ruler. That's what Duro's kind of banking on. You can see they've got so much vision towards the bottom side, towards the top side, everywhere. GENG able to litter the map with wards. As Chovy able to clear them all out as well. Teddy desperately trying to find somewhere to farm. And Ruler just farming with impunity. Just no one able to stop him from doing anything at all.
I'm looking, so we have a sheet here, right? And we need this double check, so I'm gonna do that right now. I think this is the last perfect game, the official one, right? That is on this sheet.
Yep.
This was in 2020 spring.
KT versus Griffin.
That
was UCal versus Chovy. I think so.
That's what it's definitely
No,
Chovy.
2020. Yeah,
I just don't know about...
I don't know about UCal. Maybe not in 2020.
But it's definitely... No, wait, 2020 Griffin. Chovy in 2020 was on DRX.
Wait, yeah. Wait.
Boo.
Yeah, different one. Damn it.
Boo.
I see KT versus Griffin, and all I can think about is Score and UCal and Chovy and Tarzan.
We don't need to verify. How cool would that have been?
That would have been very cool.
It's not, though.
Very, very
not
cool.
Real. Well, maybe UCal was involved.
Yeah. It might have been rather. Yeah.
Who was on Griffin then? In 2020?
It was that guy whose name started with N. I'm pretty sure. But I can't remember his name completely. I remember a lot of them. It was, okay, we've got it here. On Griffin, it was actually UCal.
UCal on Griffin?
Nayan was there as well. Nayan was the name I was trying to remember. But it was Antara and Tarzan as well. As UCal, going to take a lot of damage here from Ruler. And Iroven Woodid was on that team. Oh, man. Sorry, Woodid.
Woodid and Kion.
Wow.
One of our
Griffin
writer / produced. That's crazy.
Now I feel really bad. I'm not.
Well, it wasn't Chovy.
True. Definitely wasn't.
Who was on KT back then? 2020 KT?
2020 KT sounds like a BDD KT, maybe?
No, BDD was Gen G, 2022.
Yep. Now we're going to get Yundo on it. He'll let us know it was on KT in 2020 as well.
They can't lose Otacon, by the way.
Well, they are going to.
No, I mean, Gen G con.
Yes, because otherwise they won't get a perfect game. All right, there's some knockups. Zandil able to walk his way out. Oh no, turret! The turret's gonna go down! No, Rich, don't do it! No! Oh, why? Why?
You had one job!
Perfect game is dead. Rip the perfect game. You almost got there. One turret.
I love that Jonas Strong also did the zoom because he knew the people would want to see this.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Okay, well, GENG are going to be able to take down this inner turret. It's moving towards 24 minutes into the game. So we'll have Baron up relatively soon. Chains of Corruption do go down as Canyon will murder Sponge. Just needs another little swipey swipe. Well, he's not going to be able to get one.
X broken. It's fine. Just go in.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, perfect game is doomed.
You don't have to care anymore.
As long as Chovy doesn't die, you'll be fine, GENG. All right. Canyon will take a bit of damage here from the ghoulies, but otherwise not too much to worry about. And DRX still able to keep their base alive for the moment.
So I've abandoned the Ghoulies as a serial. If the Ghoulies were a band, what kind of music would they make?
Grunge, 100%.
Grunge?
Oh yeah.
No, I feel like it'd be like something jazzy.
Nah, grunge.
That would be, you're thinking of the Ghouls. The Ghouls would be grunge. The Ghoulies?
The Ghoulies. Oh, so you're thinking like it's more like surfy pop type style?
Yeah, the Ghoulies.
I mean, I could hear that, but I still think
they're like
grunge.
in a beach. They're like in a beach. No, that's.
It's like they've got an ironically cutesy sounding name. But actually, they just play filthy music.
Ah, I can see that.
You know, like filthy but artistically.
No, I get what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. That's all right. There's a help pole. It's going to connect onto the Braum, who does have the door, but the door isn't exactly mitigating as much as we'd want it to, as there's a bullet time. He waits for the Unbreakable to wear off, as now the heroic entrance comes down. Canyon kept alive, as Teddy does his very best, but it's just not quite enough.
I do want to give Rich credit. This is his job. That he's doing great.
Yes, be inside lane.
That's his one job.
Very
if
true.
you somehow win this game, it's got to be Rich just doing this. Nothing. This is it. That's all you need to do. Just keep going. Keep on trucking.
Yeah, you got another guy in chat, by the way, saying like surf rock as the Ghoulies.
Yeah.
So I can hear that as well. Another turret, but I guess the Perfect Game's already dead.
Doesn't matter.
Who really cares?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's totally okay. As we've got some Rich on the Baron.
Rich has a pretty substantial gold lead. Yeah, it is 1.1.
Okay, not bad.
It's not bad.
As long as you don't look at any of the other gold leads.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. Absolutely shouldn't. He's also got a hull breaker, so he definitely wins 1v1s in side lanes. As Keen not going to interrupt his back, and to be honest, if I was Keen, I wouldn't have done so either. As Ruler will be able to grab his teammates a red buff. Chovy gonna get out of there. I'm seeing there's some life left in DRX here. I'm getting some
You're seeing the lines?
They've stepped out of their base.
You seeing the lines?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing something. I don't know what it is. Happy B from Rich again. That's got to be a good sign. Oh no, the Maiden. The Maiden! Ruler wants that money. He wants that money so bad as, yeah, sad B. Obviously 50 gold over to Ruler. Yeah, very sad B. Understandable. He's made once again.
That man is an entertainer.
Oh my god. 50% of his health bar with a double up. That doesn't feel great. Well, we're flashing for a Justice Punch as Ando going to be the sacrificial Braum once again. Yukal threw some spells into Chovy and didn't manage to break his magic shield. As down goes Ando yet again. Another bullet time is beautifully positioned as Yukal does get into his Realm Warp to get himself out. The Hextech Soul is up and available here for GENG, but I think they might want to get the buff from the Nexus as well.
What buff?
I think it's called Win.
What does it do?
It makes you win. And then one of your teammates gets voted for POM, and you get to do an interview. It's pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
Oh, Rich going for the steal.
Wow, let him have it.
Wow, Rich didn't have smite. That's
boo,
so weird.
Canyon, boo. Give him something. So, who's your POM vote?
My POM vote? Canyon. 1000%. Or Duro. After like this and all the other things. Chovy's also played well. Maybe we just give it to GENG. Why don't you write down GENG for POM?
I mean, I don't think they'll let me do that. I don't think that'll be. I'm eligible to do so, unfortunately.
That does make a little bit of sense. Duro's had a phenomenal game too.
Yeah, so if it was POM or POG, game one would be
probably.
Chovy.
Yeah.
POG for this game would be Duro.
Yeah.
As a whole, I'm
probably
Chovy.
Really? Huh.
Well, his game. Remember his Ari?
Yeah, and actually his Galio's been phenomenal as well.
But
I just feel like Canyon's Nefiru is also so good in game
one. It was, yeah. Hey, if Canyon gets
Yukal's dead.
That's fine.
Chovy is going pretty quick.
You know, I think I'm just biased because Chovy playing Galio again,
Yeah.
it just brings back good memories.
Does. As bullet time flies in. Oh, the unbreakable from Andal is kind of decent here as Sponge trying to get a flank angle off. Ruler is relatively low as the Maiden going aggressive, but not quite aggressive enough here. As look at these health bars. They are just melting.
The Dominus!
Yeah, that was... We are getting some information about this buff of the Dominus above level 16. Looking great as now Gen G just trying to add insult to injury, but they will take down the Nexus.